All right, guys, what is going on? This is episode 595 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today we're going to have a pretty heavy show today. We're going to have a lot of content today because I missed yesterday's show. I want to apologize. Had to handle something on the other end of the spectrum. So got that taken care of. So we're going to have a pretty decent show for you guys today. So we're going to go ahead and get into it and give my thoughts and opinions on the topics at hand. Falcons running back Avery Williams tears his ACL. He's going to have surgery on it. He's going to be out for the season. Very, very unfortunate. Also, Georgia Southern got two more transfers that I didn't get the chance to talk about, but we will talk about them today. And it's just an exciting time overall. Even though, the whole situation with the injury, that really sucks. You do not want to see anybody get hurt. But I think he's going to bounce back. He's going to be fine. And Georgia Southern just continues to build what they're building over here, and I'm ecstatic about it. I really like it. If this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at VFBaller, and also the website is firstandframerates.com. You can check out the website over there, subscribe to the podcast, and also help support the podcast as well. One more thing I want to say, there has been some little issue with YouTube, even with Rumble uploading the actual video side of the podcast. So I highly recommend you guys go over to the podcast side because I rarely have issues over there, but sometimes one may be down and one not. So if you want to get the episodes right away, I highly advise you to subscribe to more than one avenue. So enough of all of that. Let's talk about Avery Williams. Avery Williams, running back, came to the Falcons as a cornerback, found out how versatile he is with the kick return game. They made him into a running back, and he turned into somewhat of a fan favorite of the team because he's one of those guys that you can put anywhere, special teams, defense, or offense. I mean, you want guys who are just straight football players. So with him being as versatile as he is and be like a Swiss Army knife, he started to be a fan favorite. A lot of people was really getting into what he was able to do. And he was fairly productive. I know his time and touches were limited because you have a Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier, and even in some cases you had other cornerbacks that was in the mix. But him being a team player, hey, I'll go anywhere, coach, wherever you want me to, wherever you want to put me, and we can go with it. Was able to do that. Unfortunately, non-contact injury, out for the season, torn ACL. Very, very unfortunate. If you look at the numbers, what he was able to do. Let me see if I can pull these up real quick. If you look at the numbers and see what he was able to do, for the most part, 2022, he had 22 carries for 109 yards. I mean, he averaged 4.9 yards a carry. Not bad. Also had a touchdown. Now, but with that being said, that's pretty much like one game, 22 carries for 109. But it just showed you with Tyler Algier, Cordell Patterson, he wasn't getting that many touches. But when he touched the ball, for the most part, things happen because, he did get touches, throughout pretty much every game that he played outside of maybe 4 or 5. But he was pretty productive overall in 2022. You look at his other stats throughout his career, 2021, I mean, that was really his first year coming in. He played all 15 games on defense, 8 solo tackles, 7 was assisted, 1 pass deflected. And, he also had a handful of punt returns, doing pretty well on that. 2021, he averaged 7.6 yards a return. In 2022, he started to, skyrocket, damn near doubled his numbers at 16.2 average per return. So, I mean, really, really good. I think the only knock on him, really, he had 1 fumble. But, hey, everybody can't hold on the ball forever, right? But, outside of that, it looked like he was a pretty solid player. It's going to be missed, and it kind of sucks. But as of right now, from what I've seen on The Wire, Coach Arthur Smith basically saying that now he's probably going to say like Mike Hughes. You also have Josh Ali or even Penny Hart, which I would like to see that, even though he's a Georgia State Panther. I do like Penny Hart. And I would like to see him get a chance at punt return because I think he's actually a solid, football player. So it'll be good to see that. And besides, he's part of the group of 5 in the Sun Belt. We always want to see Sun Belt guys do good in the pros. So That's where we at that with that now. As far as kick returns, probably what's going to happen. You're probably going to look at Hughes, Ali, or Penny Hart. So going to keep an eye on that and see how that goes, because I'm sorry, special teams is a very important part of the game. I mean, not many people talk about it until something big happens, but field position, people who can tackle, people who can cover, people who know how to block kicks, those people are very special on the football team just as much as anybody else. So we'll see how that plays out. Now let's jump over to Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern has two more commits, two more guys that are coming over to Georgia Southern, and they're both on the defensive side. One actually played offensive line and was actually recruited and committed to the University of Georgia. So that's very interesting. So when we look at these two guys that are here, we're going to talk about the guy number 5 first, which is Justin Rhodes out of Durham, North Carolina, 6'2", 270, redshirt junior, transferring from Wingate. He has actually pretty impressive numbers. I'm actually, looking at this and like, wow, he looks like he's going to be a pretty good asset for us. All right, I'm going to start off with 2021. He played 4 games at Wingate. Then he was redshirt. He had 12 tackles on the season, 2 for a loss and a sack. So in the 4 games that he played that he was redshirted, he had basically 3 tackles per game. He had 2 for a loss and 1 sack. So not bad. Also had a quarterback hurry. Had a season high 5 tackles against Newberry. All right, so now you go jump to 21 and 22. Year 2021 and 2022. He played 7 games at Wingate. Numbers went up. He had 18 tackles, including 3.5 for a loss, and a sack. Had 3 quarterback hurries. So posted a career high 6 tackles against Carson Newman. Also had 2 tackles for loss against Lenore Ryan. So he looks like he's pretty productive. So to get a guy like this, a defensive lineman, like I said, after we, lost guys like, Dylan Springer and Justin Ellis, you want to get some guys in there that possibly can make some things happen. So with the guys we already recruited, you just can't have enough pass rush. And look like with the way defense looked this spring, and now we're starting to add more pieces. I think defense may be a cornerstone of this team, not just high flying offense. Now, before I finish with Justin Rhodes, I want to talk about this as well. In 2022-2023, now listen to this. In 12 games, his numbers went up again. He had 44 tackles, 10.5 for a loss, and 4 sacks. So 4.5 sack. Had a fumble recovery, 4 quarterback hurries, 2 sacks against Toscom. But he ended up entering the transfer portal in May and enrolled at Georgia Southern. So he basically hopped off the Wingate train and jumped to Georgia Southern. But those 2022, 2023 numbers are pretty impressive. I mean, you do those numbers in the Power 5, you're going to have teams looking at you. Now, I get it. It's a group of 5. We still have, scouts looking at the teams. And I think this is a really good move for Justin Rhodes. He looks really good at what he does. It looks really good based on the numbers. I haven't seen any tape on him. But if he brings even a little bit, a half of that to the table, I mean, we're going to be good. Because one thing we didn't really do as well on is pass rush. But this kid, like, he has no problem with rushing the passer, getting some tackles for loss. Really going to be interesting to see what Mr. Rhodes does. 6'2", 270. Redshirt junior. So with that being said, we might see him for 2 years. So we'll see how that plays out. The other person we want to talk about is Weston Wallace. Now, like I said, he started at offensive line. The reason why he was at offensive line, I mean, he's a big kid. 6'5", 335. You know how Georgia, the Bulldogs roll. They try to get big offensive linemen. They've been like that for, good Lord, I mean, a decade at least. End up moving over to defensive linemen. Now, you already got guys like Latrell Bullard. I mean, dude is huge. You already got guys like that in the middle. You got there's a couple other guys that are like 6'2", 300 something. You bring a guy like this 6'5", 335. He's not rushing off the edge. This guy's gonna be plugging up the middle if he's gonna be playing the defensive line. And I'm not against it at all. If you play the offensive line, you already have a nasty mean streak about you. You're gonna jump over to the defensive line and you're gonna try to give the defense some help. I'm all for it. Like I said, from Eaton, Georgia, went to Gatewood School. He did not play at Georgia. He redshirted in 2020 and 2021. 2021, 2022, he didn't play. He basically was sitting around and watching the team win a national championship. Same thing with 2022, 2023. Ended up moving over for defensive line for the spring ball into the transfer portal in April and enrolled at Georgia Southern in the summer. Now, let me tell you something about this here, which is really interesting, the things that he's accomplished in high school, but you got a lot of tread on his tire. This kid did not touch the football field at all in his college career. You basically getting an experienced freshman. You know what I'm saying? You basically getting an experienced freshman. So this is a huge pickup for the Eagles because you got a guy who's been around Power 5 school, not just a Power 5 school, the Power 5 school. You know, the team that won a national championship last couple of years. So he has experience. He could bring some of that knowledge that he's learned on paper or on film to the Georgia Southern Eagles, and you bring that along with the defensive coordinator we got now, along, what is it? Not Ryan. He's not the defensive coordinator. Sorry. I'm looking at something else. But when you looking at with the defensive coordinator and all the guys that we have here with Coach Clay Helton, you're going to have a really, really good player in this kid. I'm more interested in him than anybody else right now when it comes to the defense. Don't get me wrong, I was a big Ashton Whitner fan. He's ended up transferring. I think he went to Old Dominion now. So I was looking at him. Mark Stampley, love what he's bringing to the table. Can't wait to see him take that next step in year 2. But when it comes to that defensive line, you put a guy like him and Latrell Bullard next to each other, you're going to have problems. Or you get Christian Varner out there. Is Christian Varner still on the team? I think he's still on the team. You get a guy like that on the sideline, on the line, you're going to have problems. So with our defensive coordinator, where is he? I'm looking at it right here. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, Brandon Bailey and Rip Rowan. I know Rip is going to love him. I mean, Rip, let me tell you something about Rip Rowan. I watched this guy talk a few times. I got a feeling that this guy's going to be a coach somewhere one day. He has an attitude that he wants to be something serious. And with him coming from a Power 5 school, being a defensive line coach, this kid, I mean, not this kid, but this guy, I can see him possibly being a coach somewhere. Seriously, and I can't wait to see what he's actually going to be able to do with this defense, especially when you bring, with the defensive line, especially when you bring a guy like Rhodes and Wallace together, and you already got all the other guys that are there. And then on top of that, you have, on top of that, you got Brandon Bailey coming in, which I'm going to tell you something real quick before I finish this. Brandon Bailey, I don't know if he did this or not, even though he was the defensive coordinator for UB, and we just played him in the Camellia Bowl. I don't know if anything changed between him getting from us transitioning from our old defensive coordinator to this one. But all of a sudden, our defensive guys can tackle all of a sudden. All of a sudden, these guys can cover. All of a sudden, these guys are actually playing pretty decent. I don't know what he did to them. I don't know what he done or whatever the case may be, but I'm not complaining at all. So with that being said, I'm really interested to see what this team's going to look like when you bring a guy like Wallace, you Rhodes, you already got all the other guys that are here. And it's going to be really, really good. It's going to be a really good experience to see because I'm of the mindset that, you want to have a cohesive unit that want to accomplish big things on the field. You want to have that mindset that look, business got to get done. Business need to be handled. Don't let nobody get past you. You play gap assignment, you play disciplined football, and you will have a really good, really good results. So at the end of the day, I'm really, really interested to see how this plays out. I'm really interested because you got so many other guys here that pretty much is going to be on the roster that you can move in and out of rotation and to get at the quarterback. And it's another thing. I talked about Latrell Bullard, another guy, Kerryon Smith, 6 foot 325. I mean, you got some huge guys on this team That Latrell Bullet 6'3", 345. Defensive line. Those guys are gonna be plugging up the hole. They're gonna be plugging up the middle. And then you got Weston Wallace here at 6'5", 330. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing? So let me know what you guys think. Sorry to hear about Avery Williams. He's going down with the ACL injury, but I mean, he'll bounce back. I'm pretty sure he will. Can't wait to see him in 2024. Also, let me know what you guys think about these two new Georgia Southern commits. I think we're on the right path, everybody. I've been saying this for a while now, ever since last year. Kind of underachieved not winning the Camellia Bowl, but definitely doubled our win total from the year before. And we're starting to get more players that's going to be buying in and actually, really, really talented. It's going to give the Sun Belt fits. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, guys. Look, man, we got it going on. Georgia Southern, 2 more transfers. Avery Williams is down. I'm going to see who's going to fill in for that spot. I'm going to get up out of here. We are, as of right now, since this episode is over, we are 4 episodes away from 600 episodes. It's crazy, right? Yeah, man, it's crazy. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoyed the rest of y'all day. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.